السلام عليكم. معكم وليد، وهذه حلقة جديدة من بودكاست أهدر، الحلقة الرابعة. هذه الحلقة ستكون خاصة مع ضيف خاص، الأستاذة كارول. هي أستاذة في المدرسة العليا الأساسية بالاغواط. أظن أن هذه سابقة. عموما دون أي إكثار كلام. Hi there, madam. How are you? How are you? How are you feeling?
Thank you.
So, madam, we try to gather some questions from our colleagues, friends. Okay. So the first question, we have like a saying in Arabic. We say بضاعتك ردت إلي. Before you gave us a task to do about story of self, and today we want to hear the story of self, or Carol's story of self. Your background, how did you grow up, what made you like decide to be a teacher, and finally what brought you to Algeria?
I'll give you just a couple of experiences that I think really shaped my path. I grew up, I started school in New Zealand, and when I was living there, I learned a bit about the Maori culture. I learned a bit about the Dutch culture. I heard a lot of the Dutch language and the Maori languages. And so I think that's what started my curiosity about languages.
Yeah.
So when I was 7, my mother allowed me to invite some of my friends over, and I played teacher, and they were the students, and we had great fun. And so what I am now is both a teacher and a linguist. I speak German and English, and I'm learning
Arabic right now.
العربية.
Yes, العربية.
Yeah. And it's challenging, and it helps me understand what my students are going through. There are a lot of things that allowed me to have the desire to be adventurous, to see different countries.
Cultures, different cultures.
Yeah.
Yes.
I lived in Germany for a while after I graduated from high school. I was 18. We had no internet back in those days because it was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
And I lived in the United States, in different states in the United States, and always enjoyed the changes.
Yeah, I see. So you talked about languages, and you can speak German and English. French. Do you speak French? No.
French, no.
In the future, inshallah, was teaching a dream you had since you were a child, or was it like a process developed over time?
I wish I could say there was a specific time when I thought, oh, I think I'll be a teacher. I feel like I always wanted to be a teacher. And to be honest, I think it's because my kindergarten teacher was a Maori, and she was also very good and caring and an excellent teacher. She was my idol.
She influenced you to be a teacher, I guess.
I think so. I think that's where that might have come from.
Miss, you traveled a lot of countries, and Algeria is one of them. So the question is, and the viewers want to know, what brought you to Algeria? Exactly.
Yeah. So I've been teaching at an intensive English program in Denver for 10 years. The students come from different countries on student visas.
International schools.
They come from international. They are international students coming from different countries to learn English, and then to go to the university in the United States with those degrees. Then they go back to their home countries and they use those degrees. So our school prepares them for the English required in the university.
Yeah, I see.
And I met many students from different countries. All of my colleagues have had international teaching experience, but I didn't have that. So I knew there was something missing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I learned about the English language programs that was offered by the U.S. Embassy. One of their programs is the fellowship program. The fellowships are 10 months in a different country. They offered me Algeria, and I said yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And that's how we met you.
Exactly.
Our second question, you've been in Laghwat here for 5 months. Can you tell us, what did you dislike about the city?
I love the people. I love the music.
The music also.
I love the students at ENS. They're eager, they're wonderful. I love the laghwat couscous. I love it. I'm addicted to it.
Did you try different things besides couscous?
So I like the shakshuka. Yes. Is that the one that has the noodle type of things on the bottom.
No, this rishte.
Okay.
This rishte.
Oh, rishte.
Yeah.
I have had rishte.
Yeah,
Rishte.
yeah. Yes.
Yes. Musamman.
Musamman, yes.
I like it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
And what do you dislike about this city, I guess?
I will talk about something that I started out being surprised by.
Yeah.
I don't think I disliked it. I think I didn't understand it. And that is the sand everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's sand everywhere. The sand it comes into the house. It's on the floor in the house. It's everywhere. And so I don't dislike it, but I am curious about it. I was curious about it.
Because, like, Laghwat is in the south of Algeria and it's part of Sahara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Sahara
The Sahara.
is sandy.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
So I don't dislike it, but it's something that I had to adjust to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you never experienced this before in Germany, and there is no sand there, I guess.
It's not a desert.
Yeah, it's not a desert.
No.
Our next question. You are learning Arabic, right? What do you think of Arabic?
I am learning Arabic. It's a struggle.
It's a difficult
And
language.
I'll tell you, yes, it's a
Why?
difficult language. Well, there are so many different words in Arabic.
Yeah, the vocabulary, yes.
The vocabulary,
yeah.
the spelling,
Spelling also.
the spelling, the writing system,
The sounds also.
the sounds.
Sounds,
The
yeah.
sounds. There are so many different sounds that we never make.
Yeah.
Now, knowing German, as I do, there are some shared sounds, like the r sound, it's
Yeah.
shared. But there are sounds like that are difficult. It's difficult. You
But
have to
you're
practice.
making progress. I see the progress, yeah.
I'm making progress. And the ka,
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but I would say that I learn language best when I'm immersed in that language. And honestly, I'm here to speak English. So I really feel that my learning Arabic, or actually Derja,
Yes.
is not really
Progressing.
what I'm supposed to do right now. I'm supposed to speak English to everyone.
Yeah.
And I am learning Arabic on Duolingo, and that helps me understand some Derja. But maybe I need to focus on my own foreign
Yes,
language
Exactly.
on my own some other time.
But you can join clubs here in Laghwat to improve your Arabic. They can speak Arabic, Darija, and I get it because everyone here expects you to speak in English and to improve their level of English, and
Yes.
and they do not think about you and you learn Arabic. So this is a message for everyone there.
Oh.
Speak more Arabic with Carol, I guess.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's what you should do because my purpose in being
I know
here.
he's teaching us English.
Yes, but if you
But I
want to
mean,
have
outside, I mean, like
a
clubs.
Derja, if you want to have a Derja conversation sometime, I would love that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes.
So next question: how was your teaching experience in Laghwat, and what do you think of the UNSL students level?
That is a great question. I think I mentioned before that the students in Laghwat I find them to be
Eager
very
to learn.
engaged, eager to learn.
Yes.
Yes. Very positive. They're affirming.
Yeah.
They seem excited, and I think that allows their minds and their hearts to be open to learning more. I think that's really valuable for students to have that open attitude about ready to receive information
Informations, yes.
and ready to learn from each other and help each
Interactive.
other learn. Yeah. So I find the students at ENS wonderful and inspiring. You had a second part of that question.
Yeah. Can you spot any weaknesses? Weaknesses needed to be dealt with to improve our level and.
Well, I think always the challenge for students who are trying to learn another language
Yes.
is the fact that they spend most of their time speaking to each other in their mother tongue. And that's great usually, unless we really are trying to improve the English speaking ability. In which case, I think daring, being brave enough to speak with their friends in English is key to raising their level of English. And I know it's uncomfortable and strange.
To speak another language, yeah.
Yeah, but if they can try to do that, I think that's
They can
really
try
good
to
for
do
them.
it in clubs and events. I guess this will help them.
Sure, but also when they're living together.
Yeah.
Can they make a pact or an agreement that maybe from this time to this time every day, after dinner or before dinner, some time is always designated as the English time, or something like that, where they have kind of an agreement with each other, some plan to make it possible.
So agree, it's about the courage to speak. So you need to be brave enough to speak the language.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is advice for you guys. Be brave to speak in public, I guess, and use the English often, and you see the progress, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yes.
So the next question we have, what are your strengths as a teacher?
I think that I can remember learning. I can remember what it was like to learn.
Yeah.
And when I remember that, I remember not only the process that I had to go through in my mind, but also how I felt while I was learning. I think remembering how that feels enables me to meet students where they are. For me, it's really important to teach with my heart.
I see what you're talking about, yeah. Your advice to the future teachers, everyone needs to teach from his heart. He needs to love teaching. To be a good teacher, you need to love teaching, right? So your advice to the people who chose UNSL, but they don't like teaching or being a teacher.
Yes.
Should they continue in this, or they should change their major and do other stuff or other things? What do you think about this?
That's a great question. Before we go forward,
Yes.
I need to go back to that last question.
What are your strengths as a teacher?
Of course, you have to be an expert. I have to be an expert at teaching English. I need to understand the strategies. I need to understand the theory, the philosophy, the methodology, the content. I need to be an expert. This is a given.
Yeah.
What makes you a good teacher, though, I think, is the next step, which is how do you do that? With what heart? With what understanding of what it takes to be a learner? So now, your question about the student who is at ENS, not because they want to teach, but because this is the place that they ended up, kind of.
Yes.
I would say, try to find enthusiasm for the content.
Yeah.
If there is no passion for sharing that content, I think it's difficult to be an effective teacher. I'm probably wrong about that, because I know of teachers who are able to give information, even possibly when they make a student feel uncomfortable. Maybe that's what some students need. They need to feel uncomfortable, or maybe even discounted. But I personally feel that a teacher who makes a student feel that way would be able to teach more effectively if they made the student feel comfortable enough to accept the information.
Yeah, I see.
So I'm not saying it's impossible to teach without heart, but for me it would be.
I see.
That's what gives me joy.
I see your point, and I agree with it. So, what's your biggest weakness as a teacher? I don't see any weaknesses.
This is a really good... You're so funny. It's a common question, but it's not one that I understand how to answer. But if I say, what am I still working on? Okay? What am I still working on as a teacher? What do I need to remind myself of each day? It is, Carol, each student is an individual. One student might respond with joy and smiling to a comment or to an activity, whereas another student might even be offended. Might not interact, might even be offended.
Yes,
so
I see your point.
I, as a teacher, need to continually be sensitized to the individual student, what their needs are, what their background is. I need to, yes.
I see.
This is one of the things I'm working on. There are many.
Can you name some?
Yeah. I need to continually work on keeping up with the latest ideas, the philosophies of teaching.
Technology also.
Technology.
Yes.
Technology. Thank you for mentioning that. That's another one. I'm struggling right now because I am used to having a different technological setup in my classrooms back home.
Yeah.
And so modifying, adapting, modifying.
Yes.
I don't know what the technology is going to be in the classroom where we find a space. So that's something that I need to work on. I need to work on being completely flexible, no matter what the technology, no matter what it looks like in the room.
I see.
It's something that I think I'm doing pretty well, but it is something that I'm continually having to remind myself to think about. Yeah. Technology, the use of technology. We're doing a really interesting project with a school in Virginia. It's called the Twisha Project.
And project.
I think it's really
Fantastic.
exciting. Yeah. That requires students from ENS to upload their writing so that students in Virginia can comment. That's technology, and there are always tricks to that.
Talking about Twisha Project.
Yeah.
At first, actually, I was not fan of this project, to be honest.
Yes.
Because I'm always like, I was afraid to talk and to express my ideas and to, but when you came here and you kind of changed this, like in the classroom, you made me do stuff. And this helped me to like talk and present and even do this project and other podcasts. So this is an influence, I guess.
Oh, wow.
I want to thank you about this, madam. And maybe all the students with us in UNSL felt the same.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
So we should move to the next question. What are your thoughts about grades? What do you think about grades? Are they really the mirror of the students? For example, if you have a student who is like working hard in class and everything, but he does not get good marks, how can we deal with this?
For me,
Yes.
the grade indicates where you are in the goals, the academic goals
I see.
for you. So for me, if you are getting a D, then I need to help you improve the skills that are required to move out of this class and into the next one.
Yeah, I see.
So for me, if you're getting a C in a class, if the grade reflects the skill that the student has, then the C indicates we need to work more.
More, yes.
If the grade is an A, and that grade reflects the skills that the student has, then I think we know the student is ready to move forward.
Yes, I see.
However, if the grade reflects attendance, if the grade reflects how much the student speaks in class,
Participate, yes.
These two things don't tell me about the skill of that student.
Yes.
So it depends on what the grade is supposed to reflect.
Yes.
Yes.
I see your point. We arrive at our last question, unfortunately. For the students of UNSL out there, can you give them the golden advice to become a good teacher?
Yes. I think you need to recognize that you have been a student for a very long time.
Yes.
You're an expert at being a student. Remember how it felt. Remember what you personally learned from. Remember the conversations that you had with other students about what worked for them. And maybe it didn't work for you.
Yes.
You can learn from your own learning experience.
Yeah, I see.
Be an expert. Do a great job of studying your content and your methodology.
Yeah, I see.
Yes. Study, study, study. Try new things.
Yeah.
And one more piece of advice. If you are bored as a teacher, please figure out a way to stop being bored. For me, if I'm not having fun as a teacher, I know I'm not doing a good job for the students. They're not having fun either.
I quit. For me, I quit.
Yeah. So if I'm having fun, students are usually having fun. If I'm bored, For sure, the students are bored too.
What I noticed about you, Miss, you trying to know teachers individually, improve your relationship with them, knowing our names in the first session. I hope you remember my name now. I hope. So you tried to know us more, and I think this is like important. It's like to improve this sense of security to the students, to know them more personally. So this is can make the students like talk more, speak more. They will feel comfortable with you as a teacher. So for me, at least, I think the thing you really need to work on is your relationship with your students. I don't know if you agree or not, but what do you think?
I think it's so important. Yesterday, students in the listening speaking class.
First year.
Yes.
First year.
They found an object that they had either in their bag or something that they were wearing, and they stood up one at a time and showed us the item and told us why it was special to them.
Yes.
And this activity allowed us to learn a little bit more about who this person was or is. And there were times when we got emotional. There were things that we learned about each other. Even as colleagues, the students didn't know these things about each other.
Yes.
And it was rich, it was precious. And I think we grew together as a class yesterday. For me, that is very important, because now we will look forward to coming to class, not just for the information, but to be together.
As a family, yes.
Yeah. And when we want to be together, I think we learn better.
Yeah, I see your point.
And we trust each other. There's more comfort. When there's more comfort in the room, I think we're more ready to learn.
Yeah, I agree with you. In this. We finished with all the questions, and we arrive at the end of this podcast. Thank you, Miss Carol. And if you have anything to add, piece of advice, things to conclude with, you can tell us.
Yeah. Walid, I thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome, madam.
Yeah. And what I think I want to say to the ENS students is thank you for receiving me, a stranger, and for being open to learning from me. Thank you for your honest encouragement to me. I appreciate so much hearing what's working for you that I'm doing, what's not working for you that I'm doing. I really appreciate your honesty, and I hope you will continue to do that.
Hopefully. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
وهنا نصل إلى نهاية حلقتنا يا جماعة. أتمنى أن البودكاست عجبكم. اضغطوا لايك واشتركوا بالقناة طبعا، وضعوا بعض التعليقات سواء عن الموضوع أو عن الأستاذة كارول كما ترغبون. سلام عليكم.